Hey there, welcome to the show. My name is Andy Last, and you are listening to Beyond Synth, episode 100. That's right, I'm videotaping this today just so people can see what it looks like when I record the show. Although I'm putting on a little bit of an act because usually I don't have all these lights on. And I'm not often wearing a blazer while I record. I also wear headphones, and I'm not always wearing Beyond Synth branded clothing, but just imagine that I have headphones on. It looks like this. Normally I just have headphones on. I look like that, but I just thought I would look silly in the video, so I'm not doing it. Anyways, listen. Today is episode 100 of Beyond Synth. All right, I've got a guest on that people have wanted me to have on the show for a while. Wanted me to have on the show for a while. And we're going to talk to him in just a bit. So I thought I would just say a few things because it's episode 100, so indulge me. But I'm going to try and keep it short. I want to thank the Patreons, the people who donate to Beyond Synth, who make Beyond Synth possible. And then I want to say a few words. So let's go to the Patreon.
Now you better listen up, 'cause I'ma tell you what to do. That's going to show up on Patreon, that's for real. Subscribing, you belong up in the higher echelon. Now let's see who gave money on Patreon.
All right, as you know, Beyond Synth has a Patreon. That is patreon.com/BeyondSynth. And that is a way that people can donate to the show and support it with their money. Patreon is like a monthly donation thing, so it's kind of like a Kickstarter, except you donate like, $1 a month or whatever. People who donate higher amounts get some special prizes, and it's really helped. So I got to say this up front. It is because of the Patreon that we are at episode 100, and I mean that 100%. The first 3 years of Beyond Synth, there was 15 episodes a season, and that was a year. And it's because of the Patreon that I saw that, people actually they're really enjoying the show. They're willing to support it, financially. And it makes it so even there have been some weeks where there was not a show ready. And I just worked my ass off the day before the show had to come out because people are supporting the show. And that's the reason why. So it's, it's tit for tat. Tit. All right, let's now read some of these lovely people, these people who donate to Beyond Synth. There's Power 85. That's the station that plays Beyond Synth every Thursday nights at 8 p.m. There's Brendan Kellum, Rivonia, Bending Unit 22, Lunar Baboon. He's got a very popular web cartoon. You should check it out. He doesn't need my help because he's literally hundreds of thousands of people read that one, but thank you for your support, Lunar Baboon. There's Knox Bello, Terrence Thompson, Nathan Winter, Russ Nyes, Data Suck, Seach, The Fear Merchant, Kanaz, Arjen 1981, Russell Hugo, Kyle, Junk Mail Jeff, and we haven't done Junk Mail in a month. We'll get back to that, Jeff, I promise. He's the only guy who likes that segment, the junk email bag, but we're gonna get back to it. He sent me some really funny ones, so I'm gonna have to read those for sure. Then there's Python Blue, talented synthwave artist, man. Check out his stuff. He's been on the show before, and you should check it out because it's cool. Then there's Airman, Adrian King, Replicant 81, Katner, Max Hutchings, Zykorax, I90RR, Mitch Wiseman, Jeff Block, Tomasz Bubiniczek, Chris Schmokel, 420 Chris Schmokel. Then there's Common Synths. And now we've got my lovely $5 Pattersons, all right? These are the people who donate $5 a month because they are super cool. There's Kai and Saloya, X-Riz Music, Joe and Lando. Now, they have a podcast called The Ozone Nightmare. I've been on The Ozone Late Night. That's the one that Joe hosts himself, and we would talk for like hours. There's like these like 3-hour episodes of just like me talking. So if you like that, which I know not many people do, there's Roman, Devious Raven, Bobby B, John Eternal, Dougie Fresh, Lame Robot, Mono Memory. I think I played Mono Memory tracks on the show before. Florence Bullock, who actually just sent me some tracks the other day, and they're pretty good. So I'm gonna play some of her tracks on an upcoming show. There's Matthew Lister, Simon Norberg, Veilingo, which is a great website you can check out if you like synthwave. They've got interviews and stuff. Lots of guests who are probably too big to appear on this show, but you can read their answers in print. So that's a good place to go. Then there's New Gat Ninja, Greg Smith, who is also ULOS. You should check him out. He's got some tracks that I dig. Mike Shima. Still don't know how to pronounce your name, and I have not gotten clarification. I think it's Shima. Could be Shema. Who knows? The Rosconian. Night Raptor. Night Raptor makes music you should check out. Then there's Stu M. Ross Pentland. Dana Jean, oh, this is new this week. Dana Jean Phoenix. Of course, you know who Dana Jean is. She's a voice on a ton of synthwave tracks. She was on the show in season 1, and I saw her perform about 3 weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun. It was in like a little bar, and then she got on a little wireless mic, and she started walking through the crowd, singing, and it was a good time. She had light up shoes. So thank you, Dana, for your support of the show, and go listen to Dana's music. I think she's got a new album coming out. Then there's new donor Tristan Wades. Tristan Wades. WEYDTS. No idea how to pronounce that, buddy. You let me know, Tristan. Thank you very much for your support, by the way. It means a lot to me. And let me know how to pronounce your name so I do it right. I'm a stickler for name pronunciation. And of course, Ethan Hennings. And then we get to the donation of the beast, which of course $6.66. When people donate that amount, the donation of the beast, it makes me laugh. And there's now a new donation of the beast, which is amazing. So of course, Hellroy started the whole thing. Shout out to Hellroy with $6.66. And then Lucas Ceballos joined the donation of the beast. Last week we had a new member, Blake Peterson, and this week a new member of the donation of the beast, and a new donor to Beyond Synth, Carm. Thanks, Carm, for your support and for being part of the donation of the beast. 666 Satan. And thank you very much for your support. You're a cool guy, Carm, and from your thumbnail image, bald as well. So there's that. And you're wearing glasses. Anyways, let's go to my lovely $10 Pattersons. These guys donate $10 a month because they're super cool. All right? There's Jake Last, who is not related to me, I don't think, but is a cool guy. And he's also a graphic designer, so check him out. Jake Last Designs, or I don't know what it's called, but check it out. He did my logo, which is on this shirt. He redid it. He made me some designs that I've used for some business cards and things, but you're going to hear about that in the future. I'll do a proper plug for Jake, but thank you for your support. Then there's Trevor Resnick. He's a cool guy too. He sends me links to tracks all the time, and it helps me out because a lot of time goes into making the show, and you know, when people send me links and say, hey, have you heard this track? Have you heard this? And I check it out, and if it's cool, you know, I get in contact with the artists and play their tracks on the show. So thank you, Trevor, for your support and for sending me music links and stuff. I do check them out. I think sometimes because he'll send me, you know, links over the course of like a few weeks and I don't really say anything in response. I just play them and go, okay. And then when I finally respond, he's like, oh, you finally responded to that? And I'm like, no, I listen to them all. I do. Colin Bennett, FM84, super talented artist. You know, I've talked about those... you know, the Atlas album from last year was like one of the best ones, and he's a super talented guy. So check out FM84. Then there's Fraser Trousers 1984, which is of course Fraser Davidson. Thank you for your support, buddy. You can check out my thank you video that I made for him on YouTube, and he was also on the listener episode as well. Then there's Victor Garza, who's got a name I just love to say. Ezra Van Dam, Will Lowe, who I just made a video for, which I just posted, I think, 2 days ago, so check that out. And then there's Winfield, Nathaniel Rivera, Polly Digital, who is my actual cousin, and Jacob Wick. And they're all cool people. And of course, this week, we've got the king of the Pattersons, Chris Dance, with a $25 donation. That guy is super fucking cool, in my book, which we've all seen. It's my book of cool people. Thank you very much for your support, buddy. It means a lot to me. And thank you, everybody, for donating to the Beyond Synth Patreon. It is the reason why the show is still going. And if you want to support the show, go to Beyond Synth. Nope, go to patreon.com/BeyondSynth and help out the show. So, listen, we're going to get to the interview in just a second. I just want to, and again, I think literally people are chopping trees down right outside the window. Like the second I started hitting record, it sounds like they're just shoving whole tree trunks into a fucking wood chipper. And I'm like, of course, like the second I hit record. Anyways, Beyond Synth, episode 100, okay? I think it's crazy that we've done 100 episodes. And I want to thank all the people who were there at the beginning who really sort of helped the show get going. You know, when I first discovered the synthwave scene through Hotline Miami and listening to Perturbator, when I discovered Ogre, I got in contact with him. I didn't know there was a scene. And I thought, if I do this podcast, I'm going to have to reach out to these people individually, on Twitter or whatever. And he took a chance. Like, Ogre took a chance because the show didn't exist. It could have been really shitty. Who knows? So I always am grateful to Robin for being my first guest and for writing one of my favorite songs of all time, Sure Thing, which is the theme song to Beyond Synth. That song is so fucking good, and Ogre is a really talented dude who's made a lot of awesome albums, and, he was the first guest. So that's, I'm always going to be thankful for that, and because he makes cool music. And of course, Hoo Ha, who does all the jingles on the show, Mike Mendoza, because he introduced me to the synthwave scene. He's the one who told me about synthetics and introduced me to my first set of guests. I heard his track Outrunning, also one of my favorite songs, on one of those new Retrowave compilations, which I don't think that song's on there anymore, but what would the synthwave scene be without a little drama? But it was there at the time, and it's a great song, and I reached out to him. He turned out to be a fun guy. We recorded a test episode, which I never released, and then he introduced me to Vincenzo Salvia, Protector 101, Highway Superstar, Sunglasses Kid. And, I don't know if I've ever said this, but the whole reason why I ever got in contact with Adam McNabb from Le Cassette was an actual mistake. Because Hoo Ha said, I'll send you Sunglasses Kid's contact info, and he sent me Adam's instead. And so when I got in contact with Adam, it's like, and then I finally realized, this is the guy from Le Cassette. And then, of course, Tonight by Le Cassette is still one of my favorite songs of all time. I mean, I think that's the thing about the synthwave scene. One thing that's amazing is I've got to chat with a whole bunch of really fun people. I've got to make some great friends. The scene is cool because it's not focused on one specific thing. It's about a time. So we have all these different things to talk about, and everyone seems to share in those common interests. So it's not just the music, but it's movies and TV and cartoons and video games, and all these things that we grew up with are all sort of encompassed in this scene. And so that's why it's a lot of fun to talk to people, because it's not that restricted. And a lot of people in the scene are really funny. I mean, I can't believe the amount of fun conversations I've had with people. I mean, of course, Le Cassette, I have to say, because, those are the funniest shows. They're bunch of really funny guys and also talented. It's really fun to chat with people who you respect as artists, and I do. I think it's really cool. And, there's a bunch of people in the scene who have produced songs that are like some of my favorite songs of all time. I don't listen to synthwave as if it's this separate thing. Here's real music and then here's synthwave. There's artists who have made some of my favorite tracks of all time. Tonight by Le Cassette is one of my favorite tracks of all time. And Ogre and all the other artists who make cool things. I know I keep mentioning the same ones, but So I want to thank all the guests who've been on the show. because of course that's what keeps the show going. That's why people tune in. They don't tune in for me, they're tuning in for the guests. And there have been some great ones over the years and some fun ones and people who I've had back multiple times because they're fun to chat with. I always like having Protector 101 back on the show. He likes to giggle. Obviously Hoo-Ha, we have a lot of fun. Le Cassette, who have I had back too? Like I've had a bunch of people. Droid Bishop, and there's too many to fucking name. I'm looking at the list now, and it just keeps on going on and on. But Grooveworthy, Dana Jean Phoenix, Arc Neon, Dad or DAD, who I got a chance to meet briefly when he was up in Toronto. Perturbator, Betamax, who's staging a comeback. Alpha Boy, Kid Casio, Mega Drive, Arcade High, Swagbot. Does that dude even make music anymore? Christine, Magic Sword. Those Magic Sword episodes are the most popular ones. So again, sometimes I just have to thank the guests. When people love the guests, they listen to the show. It's got nothing to do with me, and I know that. Believe me, I'm very self-aware of how shitty I am. Then there's Vector Sector and Hauer, Celerect LA Dreams, Dallas Campbell, Future Holotape, Phaserland, Dan Terminus, Blushes. I don't even think they're a band anymore, so it's like a time capsule. It's great. Lockie James, Python Blue, Robots with Ray Guns, Ghost, Damon Hatfield, Von Herzog, Gunship, Moondragon, Chalk Dinosaur, Miami Nights 1984, The Midnight, the guys who directed the fucking Carpenter Brutes video Turbo Killer, Seth Ickerman, which is like the best music video, one of the best music videos ever made. And those guys were on the show, and that was cool. Dance with the Dead, who I got to see perform in Toronto. Jaunter, RF Extreme, Nina, Let 'em Riot, Fempop, Makeup and Vanity Set. That was a great two-parter. Myrone, Giant Spirit, Pilot Priest, who is like one of the best. Pilot Priest is so good, and we did a fun chat where we were walking around Toronto. Rick Shithouse, the guy that started Synthetics FM, and Noah Kaufman from Synthwaves KFAI, because he's on the actual radio, and he's got some pretty cool guests on his show. Empathy Test, Data Stream, the Astral Stereo Project, Syntax, Le Matos, who I also got to see play in Toronto with Carpenter Brute, and those guys are really cool. And very inspiring too, because when I talk to Le Matos, they're always they're pushing me to do more with the show. And one of my favorite moments from the Carpenter Brute show was Le Matos telling one of their fans about my show, because I'm so shitty at promoting myself. And so they're literally there, like, I'm taking the picture. Like, I got the guy's camera to take a picture of him with Le Matos, and then Jean-Philippe is like, hey, you know who this guy is? He's Beyond Synth, you know this? And like, he's he's pimping my show and I can't. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm super talented dudes, man. And of course, Dynatron. And I think that's everybody, right? I mean, we just did Perturbator. That was the two-parter. So look, thank everybody. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Beyond Synth. It means a lot to me. I hope to do a lot more. It's always been important to me to do a show that was fun for people to listen to. I get that the show is light, you know what I mean? It's not like a very heavy show, but I mean, that's the point. All day on Twitter, Facebook, we are just bombarded with how shitty everything is. Shitty stuff that's going on, shitty stuff that's gonna go on, shitty stuff that might happen. And that's all I see all day. And I don't know what the future holds, I would love to do more, and if the circumstances allow me to do more shows, I will. But I always like the idea of keeping the show light because I want it to be an escape. Because quite frankly, we're just bombarded all the time with shit, right? I mean, every day it's just fucking pictures of just horrible things and and it stresses me out. Okay, I'll admit it. I get stressed out by world events. So I like to make Beyond Synth a place that's sort of where that's not really in the conversation. And I know some people might think that's a cheat or that, we should be talking about this stuff all the time. But I also believe that, if you just want to be able to relax and have some fun with some like-minded people, that is what Beyond Synth is all about. Because we get enough garbage everywhere else, and I want this place to be fun. And that is my mission statement. I've got like 50 mission statements, but that's one of them. Anyways, thank you all. thank you all for listening to Beyond Synth. It means a lot to me. Thanks for all the kind words, and I hope to do many more. And now, here is my long overdue conversation with Laserhawk.